Hey everyone, it's Chris here with Pharmacare Regenerative Health and Fitness. Today I want to talk to everybody who's interested in getting a home gym. We're going to cover all the pros and cons of having your own home gym, what kind of equipment you can get, especially if you're on a tight budget so you can get started, what the most important add-ons are going to be after you get the core fundamentals down, and then all the various trinkets that you can purchase at a low cost to really enhance the workout. So if you've been thinking about building a space in your own home to work out, stick around, you're gonna wanna see what's coming up next. So first, we wanna talk about, do you really need to build your own home gym? Well, there are several benefits to having a space in your home to work out if you're trying to stick to a fitness plan. Number one, there's no commute. When you have a gym, a commercial facility that you need to go to, the commute there might be anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes on each end of your trip. So if you're working out for anywhere from 45 to 90 minutes a session, you may need to budget something like 2 to 2.5 hours every time you want to get a workout in. And at the end of a long day, that can be an easy, I'm going to skip the workout. Every time we skip a workout, it means we're getting further and further from achieving the results that we want to see or the benefits that we want to get from our workout. So consistency is key, and having a gym in your own home means you're just one door away from getting into your workout space. The next major benefit is going to be privacy. Nobody is going to be watching you doing your workout, so if you're a little uncomfortable having other eyes on you, you don't have to worry about doing your makeup, you don't have to worry about getting fancy gym clothes. In fact, I do probably 50% of my workouts in my underwear and a t-shirt, and nobody's around to see it, so it doesn't matter. I get the work done and it doesn't make a difference. The third big benefit is that there's no waiting for equipment. So if you've spent any time in commercial gyms, there's always that equipment hog who's taking up the most important piece of equipment in the gym and refusing to share, or that one guy that's just excessively sweaty and a little bit stinky and you really just don't want to be working with them. Having your own space means you always have all the equipment available and you're able to seamlessly move from one exercise to the next without interruptions. The other key benefit is that your gym is always going to be available to you. No matter if it's a late night on a weekend, a holiday, anytime you want to work out, you can slip in for a quick 15-minute workout, or you can do a full 1-hour session anytime, whenever you're ready to get down. And then of course, the final big benefit is going to be there's no membership fees. You won't have to pay on a monthly basis to use your gym. Now, of course, there are going to be some downsides to starting your own gym, so we'll want to discuss those as well. And on the flip side of no membership fees, of course, there's going to be an initial capital expense when you're building out your gym. And most likely there's going to be some ongoing equipment expenses. It's the nature of the beast. You're going to want to continually upgrade your equipment if you're engaged in your workouts. So the initial expense is what we're going to spend the most time talking about with the equipment recommendations in this video. Like I said, we're going to be talking about the most inexpensive, high impact starting materials that you can get, and then we'll build from there on what we should add next. The next downside is that you're going to have to build this space out. So you can start as simple as you want, but if you're going to be working out for the long term and you want a space that's appealing to you, it may require some home renovations to make this space aesthetically pleasing, and that can again either cost money or your own time and labor. The next thing you're going to need, of course, is to have a physical space. So hopefully you've got maybe an unfinished basement in your home, or there's a spare bedroom or kind of office space that you can convert into a gym. But if you're living in a condo, this probably isn't going to be an option for you. So having the prerequisite space to get started is something you're going to need. It could even be an outdoor garage or a big shed or something like that, but we are going to have access to some space. And then the final thing is that working out at home is going to require internal motivation. There is something about the environment and the energy of the gym, having other people around, that makes it easier to get motivated to put in a good workout performance, which is why a lot of things like CrossFit or group fitness classes are so successful, is because they create that community environment. When you're at home, you're basically on your own, so you've got to rely on yourself for the motivation and the uplift to get your workout started. So with that out of the way, let's talk about the fundamental pieces you're going to need to equip in your gym. In my opinion, the very first most important thing, especially if you're new to lifting, is going to be a good set of dumbbells. Now, if you're on a tight budget, there are a few options here. We can go with something like power blocks, which are an adjustable set of dumbbells. So you just have to click over to switch the weights in and out. So it's very compact. It takes up a very small amount of space. The downside with these is that they are a bit clunky. They're a bit peculiar looking, so they don't have that same cool factor as working with iron dumbbells or iron weights, but they are an available option that's gonna minimize the space they take up and allow you to get a functional dumbbell workout. Number two, we can go with adjustable dumbbells. So these would be small dumbbells, and just like you would load plates onto a barbell, you would get 1-inch plates that you can slide onto these small adjustable dumbbells, screw a collar down to tighten them on, and then they're going to be available for you. These do look and feel more like your typical dumbbells. The downside with these is that every time you're changing between exercises where you're using a different weight, you're going to have to take off the collar, take off the dumbbell, slide on the plate, slide on the new plate, and then collar it back down again before moving on. It's a minor inconvenience, but it does get a little annoying in the long run. So if you are into working out, it's not just a passing fad for you, that you're going to be doing this for the rest of your life on a regular basis, and you want something that's more permanent and convenient, I'd highly recommend getting a full set of dumbbells with a stand. Right now, a set of hex dumbbells, which are rubber-coated hexagon-shaped dumbbells, you could get a pair from 5 pounds right through to 50 pounds with the rack included for about $1,000 Canadian, brand new. If you're willing to shop around online a little bit or look at used markets, you can even do quite a bit better than that. But the important thing is that dumbbells are going to allow you to perform exercises for every major movement and every major muscle group in your body. So if you're more interested in building muscles, you'll be able to target the shoulders, the biceps, the triceps, the chest, the upper back, the glutes, the hamstrings, the quads. And if you're more interested in strength movements, we can hit all your major pushing movements, your major pulling movements, and your major lower body movements with the dumbbells. So it's the best place to start to give you the most bang for your buck in terms of low cost, high effectiveness. Once we've got the dumbbells sorted out, the next thing we want to make sure you have is a good adjustable bench. So the adjustable bench is going to open up a wide variety of different pressing movements. So all your different bench presses, incline presses, some rowing variations, they're all going to require that we have a bench, and having that bench be adjustable is going to just add that much more bang for your buck. You're probably looking at something in the $250 to $600 range, depending on quality. And once again, if you look and shop around online or even look at the used market, you can maybe do a little bit better than that. The last thing I recommend, especially because we're starting with dumbbells and incline bench, if we add an aerobic step with risers, it opens up possibilities for step down exercises for the legs, for split squat variations, as well as calf stretching and calf strengthening exercises. And because it's only $100, it really allows us to round out the routine for the full body. I'd recommend these as our main starting point. A set of dumbbells that are either adjustable or a set from 5 pounds to 50 pounds, a good adjustable incline bench, and an aerobic stepping block, and we're in the game, taking up a minimal amount of space, providing a maximum amount of workout efficacy. Now, once we've been using these tools for a little while, if you're interested in either building muscle or building strength to a significant degree, we're going to have to move beyond that. And the first thing you're going to want to add to the facility is a good power rack. Now, I always recommend going with a full cage system, because if you're working out at home, you're probably going to be working out alone. And there are just too many horror stories about people who lose their lives because they've been pinned underneath a bench press, or who injure themselves because they fail under a squat. The power rack gives us safety pins, so you can set these bars to the bottom of your lift so that if you're trying to max out or go for a new record, if you're in danger of failure, you can put the weight down on the safety pins and remove yourself comfortably without injury or pain or discomfort. So I highly recommend the power rack cage system for that reason. Secondly, it opens up all of our barbell exercises. So our squats, our deadlifts, rowing variations, bench pressing variations, and pretty much every power rack on the market is going to come up with a chin-up attachment. So that gives us all our vertical pulling. And we can add a lot of flexibility work using the power rack upright bars, and by adding a strength band, which is a green band, which we'll discuss in the trinket section, but the power rack is going to give us the most bang for our buck after we have our initial gym setup. There are a number of variations that you can find on the market. Whatever you think is the best deal you can find, but really you're looking at $800 to $1,500 all in for a full power rack, and your barbell and plate system are coming down in price all the time. I think we're looking at maybe $300 for a set of a good Olympic barbell with probably something like 200 to 300 pounds of weights, and we'll include some links to a few good deals that we find online. Now, in terms of cardio, you may be thinking you need some cardio equipment in your gym. I'd actually say this is an optional piece because there's so many free outdoor options that can be achieved for cardio. Starting with walking and hiking, getting into jogging, you can be swimming outdoors, cycling outdoors. If it's the winter months, you can be looking at cross-country skiing or snowshoeing. And the benefit of working outdoors means you're getting fresh air, you're getting sunlight, which is going to increase your vitamin D absorption. It's actually going to improve your testosterone levels when you spend time in the sun, and it's going to help set your circadian rhythm by seeing natural sunlight and getting it into your pineal gland. So don't feel like you need to get cardio equipment in your gym, but if it is a bad weather day, or if you want to be looking at doing sprint work, it is handy to have an indoor piece of cardio. And in that case, my first choice would be the Air Assault bike. So this is a bike that allows us to safely do sprint work where we're getting both the upper body arms involved with the natural cycling motion, and it can be used to great effect. After the Air Assault bike, I really like the Concept 2 Rower, once again because it's a full body cardio movement. You're getting the upper body pulling muscles involved with your lower body. Now, one caveat is if you have a history of lower back pain, particularly if you have disc herniations, the Concept 2 Rower might not be for you, but otherwise it's a great way to get some cardio, and it stores up nice and snugly in a corner by standing it on its side. After that, I would say these are absolutely optional, not required at all. But if you'd like, you can then be looking at things like treadmills, ellipticals, or stair mills if you do prefer to do your cardio indoors, but not something that I'd put on the required list by any means. Next piece we can look at is a functional trainer or a cable pulley system. This is just going to open up more exercise variation. So really, we're going to be doing a lot of the same exercises we could do with a dumbbell or a barbell, but it's going to change the direction the force is coming from. And so I don't want to get too technical at this moment, but once we stall out on some of our barbell or dumbbell strength exercises, we're able to change to make some small variations to the movement by using cable pulley systems, which can help bust through plateaus, particularly in muscle growth, and just give us a little bit of a different look, so to speak, in terms of how we feel about the exercise routine by adding in some variety and variation. Next piece that I would recommend, which I don't have in my home gym, but I'm hoping that I'm going to try one soon, that's the Freak Athlete Nordic Hyper GHD. I love an opportunity to do a review, but from what I've seen online, this is going to offer a lot of bang for your buck in one piece, which is what these recommendations are all about. So the Freak Athlete Nordic Hyper combines one machine that will allow you to do Nordic curls, glute ham raises, 45-degree back extensions, and 90-degree back extensions. These are all exercises that target the posterior chain in a way that we can't quite hit with barbells or dumbbells. And because it's an all-in-one machine, it means it's going to be compact, it stores away easily, and doesn't take up a lot of space, and is really going to hammer those muscles of the posterior chain. The last thing I'd put on this list, which is also in the optional category, would be to work out with a heavy bag. So we're talking about a boxing heavy bag. The benefit here is it's going to allow you to get a fantastic cardio workout, but it also gives you a practical skill and it breaks up the monotony of the workout. So a lot of people really find boxing workouts to be a lot of fun. And anytime you can find a way to work out, especially to get cardio work that engages you and you find to be appealing and fun, I'd say go for it. And the big benefit here is you're also learning a practical skill. And while you may not want to be getting in fistfights every weekend, it is definitely better to have a good punch and not need it than to need to know how to throw a punch and not have it available to you. So after we have those pieces down, and I shouldn't say after, at any time, these trinkets, which we're going to discuss now, are low price pieces that you can add into the workout that are going to enhance your ability to target certain muscle groups or feel the stimulation or the activation in particular muscle groups. So the first piece that I've got on this list is the strength band, which we mentioned previously. So we can use these both for accommodating resistance, which is something in powerlifting communities. Again, we're not going to get too far in the weeds here, but we can basically hook up the bands to the barbell, and it's going to add what we call an accommodating resistance to the barbell. But more often, I use this as a flexibility and mobility tool. So lately in the fitness culture, the fascial nets have been popularized by Thomas Myers and the fascial stretch therapy system. And we can do a self-administered fascial stretch using these strength bands by learning different ways to pull and tug on these fascial nets using some of the most advanced mobility techniques that are currently known in the fitness industry. After we've got the band set up, these bands, we're talking about 30 to 50 bucks for either a single heavy band or a pair of bands. They're available online. We'll throw up a bunch of links. Once we've got that out of the way, heel wedges are another great option to add early. So specifically, if we're looking at exercises like deep squats, like split squats and step downs, oftentimes stiffness in the ankle limits the ability to get the knee and the hip into a deep position. And if our goal is to target the quadriceps, the hamstrings, and the glutes with those movements, we want to make sure we can take those muscles into a deep stretch position. And so bypassing the stiff ankle with a heel wedge allows us to get the deep stretch on those other target muscle groups and get more effect out of the movement even when the ankle is still stiff. So these wedges are great for that purpose. They're also a great tool for stretching the ankle on the flip side. So while we can bypass the ankle during our strength training, we can also target the ankle mobility using these wedges. So they're high on my list of small trinkets to add to your home gym early on in the game. Another piece we can add at relatively low cost are gymnastics rings. These won't be necessary right away for most people, but once you've been working out for some time, maybe you're starting to feel a little stale about your routine and you're looking for some variation, the gymnastics rings are going to add a whole new world of possibilities for all our pulling motions, inverted rows, pull-ups, dips, push-ups, and they're going to require more stability, and they're also going to be a little more joint friendly because we're able to manipulate the ring. So people who sometimes might get elbow or wrist or even shoulder pain during some of their pressing movements might find a little more comfort using the gymnastics rings. Another piece on the list are kettlebells, and if you're a kettlebell enthusiast, you might just opt to go with a full set of kettlebells without the dumbbells. My recommendation is for most people to start with dumbbells, and you can add in kettlebells specifically if you're interested in working with them. They're not a requirement, but there are some great benefits, especially for explosive movements, that can be done with kettlebells. Another piece I like at a relatively low cost is the Animal House monkey foot. So this is essentially a trinket we can add and strap onto your ankle just like a snowboard binding, and it allows us to hold weights with our feet. Now in a home gym, this gives us the ability to perform hamstring curls, which is essentially a knee flexion exercise. And there really aren't any good options in that a dumbbell or a barbell provides to strengthen the hamstrings as a knee flexor. So while the monkey foot can allow us to load up our hamstrings, it can also allow us to load up the hip flexors, which is probably the most neglected muscle group for strengthening purposes. We very often target the hip flexor from a flexibility or a stretching perspective. Not many people spend a lot of time working on hip flexor strength. And once again, this monkey foot is going to open the door for hip flexor strengthening. The major benefit is going to be reduction for lower back pain or lower back discomfort for a lot of people, as well as unlocking sprinting mechanics and explosive speed in sprinting movements. Now, after that, this next recommendation is going to mostly apply to people who are doing combat sports or contact sports. So if you're doing any kind of MMA, boxing, grappling, or if you're involved in sports like hockey or football, strengthening the neck is going to help reduce the incidence of concussion, and it's a very important precautionary measure. The iron neck is going to allow us to train neck in just about every plane of motion, specifically getting into rotation movements that we can't quite do safely with any other implements, really, to my knowledge. And then the last piece on this list is just accessory bars. And really, by the time you get into the need to add accessory bars like cambered bars, trap bars, Swiss bars, you probably already know what those things are. These are not anything you need to rush out and get right away, but they are available pieces that are going to add some variety and variation to your strength work. So I think that's a good place to bring this video to a wrap. I want to leave you with this message. Start with what you need. You are always better getting started, even if things aren't perfect yet, and growing over time. So don't wait until you have the perfect space in your home or until you do a full renovation project. Get started with what you have now. Upgrade as your interest and your budget allow you to. So get out there, go do something, start with whatever you have, get moving, and try to develop a habit and a routine around exercise. It's only going to enhance your lifestyle, the way you feel about yourself, the way you feel about your body, and the amount of focus and energy you have throughout your day. So that's it for me today. Chris with Pharmacare Regenerative Health and Fitness signing off. Hope to see you again soon. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Take care, everyone.